Today I'm going to discuss new criticism. New critics were the theorists who believed that close reading of the text is much more important than reading about the historical and social background of it. This sect of people believe that the poem which is imprinted on the paper is much more important than reading about it, how it was written, what was the intention of the poet behind writing it, what was the historical, political, and biographical background of the poet is not much more important because the text itself is uh, the autonomous thing and we should study this only. They concentrate on reading about what figure of speeches are being used, what is the structure of the poem, what the rhyme scheme is, and what is the structure, complete structure of the poem is. So this sect of readers and theorists, they believe that the text itself should be discussed much more instead of talking about its historical, social, political background. This movement was not a very organized movement, and its foundation was laid by T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, I.A. Richards in UK. Their works were really important in initializing the theory, the sacred wood, practical criticism, etc. But the big names are of USA. One of them is John Crow Ransom, which is being considered to be the founder of the new critics theory. John Crow Ransom's work, The New Criticism, published in 1941, is very important in this respect. Some important names to remember for this are in USA: John Crow Ransom, Alan Tate, Robert Panwaran, Clint Brooks, Kenneth Burke, R.P. Blackmer, William K. Wimsett, Munro Beardsley, etc. And in United Kingdom, T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, I.A. Richards, and William Amsden. Some keywords or some buzzwords to be remembered for this theory are close reading, form, technique, ontology, text, irony, ambiguity, paradox, intentional fallacy, affective fallacy, etc. The chronological order of the works which were published and influenced this kind of theory are T.S. Eliot's The Sacred Wood, which was published in 1920, I.A. Richards' Practical Criticism, which was published in 1929, William Amsden's Seven Types of Ambiguity, 1930, Clint Brooks and Robert Penn Warren's Understanding Poetry and Understanding Fiction, which is one of the landmark works which inspired this kind of theory. It was published in 1938. John Crow Ransom's work, which is very important to remember, The New Criticism, 1941. This is the work with which the new critic theory started systematically. Clint Brooks, The Well-Wrought Urn, 1947, and Wimsett and Beardsley's The Intentional Fallacy and Affective Fallacy, published in 1954. To discuss some important works very fast, I will start with T.S. Eliot, The Sacred Wood. There are some 20 essays by T.S. Eliot and various opinions on Shakespeare's play Hamlet and Dante and Black, etc. have been discussed by him in a unique way. I.A. Richards' practical criticism is uh, very important because it influenced new critics very much. Practical criticism is a record of piece of fieldwork which was done by I.A. Richards in the seminar in Cambridge University. In this seminar, he distributed around 13 poems to his undergraduate students, and he told them to discuss and to understand these poetries without giving them any background of them. But then he found it was really very hard for them to understand its meanings because they were devoid of its authors, they were devoid of its background, its social, biographical, political background, etc. So he found that it is a very big barrier in understanding poetry, and he said that our feebleness in introspection and our ignorance of the general nature of feelings is a barrier which um, stops us to understand any poetry individually. So this theorist actually impressed new critic theory a lot. Coming next to William Ampson, his Seven Types of Ambiguity is also remarkable. Then Cleant Brooks and Robert Pan Warren's Understanding Poetry is also another landmark work which influenced New Critic theory a lot. It was published in 1938, and according to Warren's obituary in New York Times, he said that understanding poetry and understanding fiction, which he wrote with Mr. Brooks, taught an entire generation how to read a work of literature and helped make the new criticism dominant in the decade surrounding World War II. So, this work also taught people that how they should stop reading about literature and instead they should concentrate on literature itself. They should not read about literature, but they should read literature. The very text which is imprinted on the page, what its structure is, what its um, style is, what its diction is, etc. Alan Tate's Miss Amy biography is also another work which is good enough. And John Crud Ransom's, this is, I've already stated that this is one of the most important works to be remembered, to be crammed. The work is New Criticism, which was published in 1941, and this work stated that we must study literature, not about literature, and we should exclude personal impressions, synopsis and paraphrasing, historical studies, linguistic studies, moral content, and special studies, etc. And we should concentrate on the text on the page itself. Clean Brooks, The Well Wrought Urn is also very important work because it is studies in the structure of poetry. It is divided into 11 chapters and 10 of which are an attempt to close reading of the celebrated English poems from verses in Shakespeare's Macbeth to Yeats among school children, etc. Two more names to be remembered are William K. Wimsett and Munro C. Beardsley. Um, they wrote The Intentional Fallacy in 1946 and The Affective Fallacy in 1949. A very important axiom which may even clear the concept of new critics is a poem should not mean but be. Thank you.